Princeton Hospital, April 17, 1955, 1:23 in the morning. The room is still, save for the soft, almost imperceptible hum of the medical equipment. Outside the window, the streets of New Jersey are deserted. The world, for the most part, is asleep. But Albert Einstein is very much awake. He lies there, in the stark hospital bed, 76 years old, fully aware that these are his final hours. An aneurysm in his abdomen has ruptured. The doctors, of course, offered surgery. He, with unwavering resolve, refused. On the nightstand beside him, a chaotic landscape of papers, equations that dance with the cosmos, scrawled notes for a speech he will now never deliver. Even now, even in this crucible of his final moments, he is still working, still thinking, still relentlessly searching. His trusted assistant, Eleanor Vargas, rises with a concern etched on her face to check on him. He looks worried. He looks back at her, his eyes heavy with fatigue, and says something that will echo through the decades. A testament to his unflinching acceptance. "You are really hysterical. I have to pass on sometime, and it does not really matter when." She is left speechless, caught in the undertow of his profound calm. How can a man confront the specter of his own death with such tranquility? How can he lie there, knowing the abyss is near, and speak as if it were nothing more than changing trains? Because Einstein understands something profound, something that most people never grasp, something that fundamentally alters how we should live, and ultimately, how we should face death. This is the story of what he knew. Bern, Switzerland, 1905, 50 years earlier. The clock rewinds. A young man, brimming with intellectual fire, sits at a modest desk in the Swiss patent agency. He is 26 years old. His name is Albert Einstein. And the world, as of yet, remains blissfully unaware of his existence. He is technically supposed to be reviewing patent applications, a mundane task. Instead, his mind is wrestling with the very essence of light. For months, he has been consumed, obsessed with a single perplexing problem. What would it actually look like to ride alongside a beam of light? What would you see? What would you experience if you could somehow travel at the speed of light itself? This seemingly simple question has haunted him since he was just 16. Now, finally, after years of intellectual struggle, something is beginning to crystallize, to coalesce into a coherent understanding. He takes the trolley home that evening, lost in thought. He glances up at the town clock in the center of Bern as the tram pulls away. And suddenly, in a blinding flash of insight, he understands. If he were traveling away from that clock at the speed of light, the clock, to him, would appear frozen. Time itself would grind to a halt. Time, he realizes, is not absolute. Time is relative. Time depends entirely on how fast you are moving. In that moment, on that seemingly ordinary trolley ride, Einstein discovers something that will irrevocably change the trajectory of science, but he also unearths something far deeper, something about the very fabric of existence. He realizes, with a force that nearly knocks him off his feet, that the universe is not at all what it appears to be. That night, sleep eludes him. He lies in bed next to his wife, Evelyn, staring into the darkness, his mind a swirling vortex of ideas. If time itself is relative, then everything we think we know about reality is fundamentally wrong. Past, present, future. These are not fixed, immutable categories. They are fluid, contingent. They depend entirely on perspective. They depend on motion. He gets up, compelled by an unseen force, and walks to the window. The stars, a billion points of light, are scattered across the velvet canvas of the night sky. He looks at them, and he thinks. He truly contemplates how their light has traveled for millions of years, an unimaginable journey through the vastness of space, to finally reach his waiting eyes. The light he sees now left those distant stars long before humans even existed on this fragile Earth. In a sense, he is looking backward in time. In a very real sense, the past is not just a memory, it is still present. Most people would gaze at those same stars and think nothing of it. Pretty lights, nice view, perhaps a fleeting moment of aesthetic appreciation. They would never realize that those stars are silently, subtly, revealing something profoundly important about the very nature of existence. But Einstein sees, and what he sees changes everything. Munich, Germany, 1889, 16 years before. The seed of genius is planted. A young boy sits transfixed in his room, carefully holding a compass. He is just 5 years old. His father has gifted him this small, magnetic device, and he cannot tear his eyes away from it. The needle, with unwavering certainty, points north, always north. No matter which way he turns the compass, no matter how he manipulates it, the needle relentlessly swings back. Why? There is nothing visible pulling the needle, no string, no hand, nothing he can see or touch. And yet, something is undeniably there, something invisible, something powerful, something undeniably real. Young Albert feels a shiver, a tremor of understanding, run through him. He will later describe this seemingly insignificant moment as one of the most important of his young life. The compass, in its simplicity, shows him that, beneath the visible world, the world we perceive with our senses, there are hidden forces, invisible structures, a deeper, more fundamental reality that most people simply never notice. Most people look at a compass and see a useful tool for finding direction, a navigational aid. Young Albert looks at the same compass and sees, with startling clarity, undeniable proof that the world is not what it seems. This is the first secret he learns. The visible world, the world of appearances, is only the surface. Beneath it lies something far more profound. Princeton, New Jersey, 1933, 22 years before his death. The world descends into darkness. Einstein has fled Germany. The Nazis, fueled by hate and intolerance, have risen to power. They have placed a bounty on his head. His scientific achievements are condemned. His books, symbols of knowledge and enlightenment, have been burned. His property, his tangible possessions, have been seized. He arrives in America, a land of promise and refuge, with almost nothing. But he does not seem troubled. A reporter, curious about his apparent lack of despair, asks him if he is upset about losing everything. Einstein, with a quiet dignity, shakes his head. "I have lost nothing," he says, his voice resonating with conviction. "I have lost possessions. I have lost a country. But possessions and countries are temporary. They are ultimately illusions. What I have, what really matters, cannot be taken from me." The reporter, understandably, does not quite grasp the depth of his words. How can a man who has lost his home, his money, his nation, possibly say he has lost nothing? Because Einstein has already internalized the second crucial secret. The things that most people spend their entire lives chasing: wealth, status, security, possessions. These are not real. They are mere shadows. They come and they go, like fleeting clouds across the sky. Attaching yourself to them is akin to attaching yourself to smoke. What, then, is real? Einstein would argue that knowledge is real, understanding, The ability to comprehend the universe and our place within it is real. The relationships we forge with other human beings, the bonds of love and connection, are real. The sense of wonder we feel when we contemplate the immensity of the cosmos, that is real. Everything else is just noise. Princeton Hospital, April 17th, 1955. We return to the present, to the hushed room where Einstein's life is slowly fading. Einstein's pain, for the moment, has subsided. The morphine is doing its work, providing a fleeting respite. He picks up the newspaper, his mind still engaged with the world, and reads about the latest political developments. He talks with his doctors, his curiosity undimmed, about complex scientific matters. A nurse, her face etched with compassion, enters the room. She speaks only English, a language foreign to Einstein. She does not understand German. Einstein looks at her, his eyes filled with a lifetime of contemplation, and says something. 2 simple sentences, spoken in his native tongue. His final words, a whispered secret on the edge of eternity. He does not understand, and she will never know what he said. And neither will we. But, in a way, we do know what he believed. We know what he dedicated his life to trying to tell the world. We know the secret that most people die without ever learning. Let me tell you what that secret is. Berlin, Germany, 1915. 10 years after his initial breakthrough, the culmination of a decade of relentless pursuit. Einstein has just completed his general theory of relativity, a monumental achievement that will reshape our understanding of the universe. It has taken him 8 grueling years of intense intellectual labor. He has suffered debilitating headaches, agonizing stomach problems, and a failing marriage. He has driven himself to the very brink of exhaustion. But now, finally, it is done. And when he sees the final equations, elegantly scrawled across the page, something unexpected, something deeply human, happens. He begins to cry, not from exhaustion, not from relief, but from beauty. The equation, in their elegant simplicity, describe how gravity actually works, not as a force pulling objects together, but as a curvature in the very fabric of space and time. They show that massive objects curve the fabric of space and time itself. The sun doesn't pull the Earth toward it. The sun bends the space around it, and the Earth follows the curve. But the equations are more than just a description of gravity. They're elegant, they're simple, they're beautiful, in a way that takes Einstein's breath away. He realizes that the universe has an order, a harmony, a mathematical elegance that suggests something profound. The universe isn't random. It isn't chaotic. It is designed. Einstein doesn't believe in a God who watches over individuals, who answers prayers, who intervenes in human affairs. But he believes in something. He believes in the intelligence behind the laws of physics. He believes in the order that makes existence possible. He calls this cosmic religious feeling, and he considers it the highest form of spirituality. This is the third secret. The universe isn't meaningless, it's filled with order and beauty, and recognizing this order, feeling awe before it, is the deepest form of religious experience a human being can have. Einstein would later write about this experience. He called it cosmic religious feeling. He said it was the strongest and noblest motivation for scientific research. What is cosmic religious feeling? It's the sense of awe. That comes when you contemplate the universe, not the fear of a punishing God, not the hope for reward in an afterlife, just pure, overwhelming wonder at the fact that anything exists at all. Einstein felt this every day. When he looked at equations, when he walked through the woods near Princeton, when he played his violin alone in his study, he felt connected to something vast and beautiful. A colleague once asked him what he meant by God. Einstein thought for a moment and then said, I believe in Spinoza's God, who reveals himself in the lawful harmony of the world, not in a God who concerns himself with the fate and the doings of mankind. God, for Einstein, wasn't a person. God was the order of the universe, the mathematical elegance that makes existence possible. And recognizing this order wasn't just science, and it was worship. Most people go through life without ever feeling this. They see the stars and think of nothing. They see a flower and walk past it. They live in a universe of staggering beauty and never notice. Einstein noticed every day until his last breath. New York, 1950, 5 years before his death. A grieving father writes to Einstein. His son has just died. He's devastated. He asks the famous physicist, if science can offer any comfort, if there's any hope for meaning, in a universe that seems so cruel. Einstein writes back. His words are careful, honest, compassionate. He tells the father that he can't promise an afterlife. He can't promise that the boy's soul is in heaven. Science doesn't support such beliefs. But he offers something else. He writes that a human being is part of the whole called by us the universe, a part limited in time and space. We experience ourselves as something separate from the rest. But this separation is a kind of optical delusion of our consciousness. The father reads these words. What do they mean? Einstein is telling him that his son isn't truly gone, because his son was never truly separate. We think we're isolated individual, trapped in our bodies and cut off from the world. But this is an illusion. In reality, we are waves in an ocean. We rise for a moment. We have our shape, and then we return to the water from which we came. The sun has returned to the ocean. He's not gone. He's everywhere. This is the fourth secret. The separation we feel between ourselves and the world isn't real. It's a trick of perception. In truth, we're connected to everything. We're part of everything. And when we die, we don't disappear. We rejoin the whole from which we were never really separate. Most people die, believing they are alone, believing they are isolated, believing that death is an ending. Einstein knew better. He once told a friend that death was simply returning to the ocean after being a wave. The wave thinks it's separate from the water. The wave thinks that when it crashes on the shore that it will cease to exist. But the water was always the ocean. The wave was always the ocean. Death isn't an ending. It's a returning. This isn't mysticism. This is how Einstein actually understood reality. He saw through the illusion of separation. He knew that we're all connected at the deepest level. And this knowledge was set him free. Princeton, 1954. 1 year before his death, Einstein is walking home from his office. At the Institute for Advanced Study, a young student approaches him on the street. Professor Einstein, the student says, what's the most important question a person can ask? Einstein stops. He thinks for a moment. Then he answers. The most important question is whether the universe is friendly. The student is confused. What does that mean? Einstein explains. If you believe the universe is hostile, you'll spend your life building walls, defending yourself, fighting. If you believe the universe is indifferent, you'll spend your life seeking distraction, entertainment, escape. But if you believe the universe is friendly, everything changes. You'll spend your life building bridges, creating connections, seeking understanding. The student asks, and which do you believe, Professor? Einstein smiles. I believe the universe is friendly, not in a personal way, not like a friend who cares about your problems, but in a deeper way. The universe follows laws. Those laws can be understood, and understanding them brings us closer to something sacred. This is the fifth secret. How you answer the question of whether the universe is friendly determines how you'll live your entire life. Most people never think to ask the question. They stumble through existence, reacting to events, never realizing that their fundamental assumptions are shaping everything. Einstein asked the question, and his answer gave him a life of meaning, purpose, and peace. There's another scene from Einstein's life that reveals how he understood existence. Pasadena, California, 1931. A visit to the observatory. Einstein stands at Mount Wilson Observatory, looking through the great telescope. The astronomer Edwin Hubble is showing him the evidence that the universe is expanding. Galaxies are moving away from each other. The cosmos itself is growing. Einstein is stunned, and years earlier, he had added a term to his equations called the cosmological constant, because he believed the universe should be static, unchanging, eternal. Now he sees that he was wrong. The universe is dynamic. It had a beginning. It's evolving. Most scientists would be upset to discover such a fundamental error in their work. But Einstein laughs. He calls the cosmological constant the biggest blunder of his career. He's not ashamed. He's delighted to learn something new. This is another secret Einstein knew. Being wrong is not failure. It's discovery. Most people spend their lives defending their beliefs, their assumptions, their view of the world. They cannot admit error. They cannot change their minds. Einstein changed his mind constantly. He followed the evidence wherever it led. He let reality teach him, rather than trying to force reality to fit his expectations. This flexibility, this openness, this willingness to be surprised is part of what most people die without ever knowing. They live in mental prisons of their own making. They defend ideas that no longer serve them. They cannot grow because they cannot admit they were wrong. Einstein grew his entire life. He was still learning, still wondering, still changing his mind. Right up until his final day, Princeton Hospital, April 18th, 1955, the final morning. The sun is rising. Einstein has been in pain through the night. But he has faced it with what observers describe as a smile. He's taken morphine, but he has not complained. The doctors make one last attempt. They urge him to have surgery. They tell him they might be able to save his life. Einstein shakes his head. "I want to go when I want," he says. "It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it elegantly." These are among his last recorded words in English. What strikes everyone who hears them is not the resignation, but the acceptance, the peace, the complete absence of fear. How can a man face death this way? Because Einstein has understood something that most people miss entirely. He has understood the secret that has run through his entire life, from the compass in Munich, to the equations in Berlin, to the hospital bed in Princeton. Here's what he knew. Here's what most people die without ever learning. Life is not about what you accumulate. It's not about what you achieve. It's not about winning or losing, succeeding or failing. Life is about something much simpler and much more profound. Life is about paying attention. Einstein paid attention to a compass, and it revealed hidden forces. He paid attention to a town clock, and it revealed the nature of time. He paid attention to equations, and they revealed the structure of the universe. He paid attention to his own consciousness, and it revealed that separation is an illusion. Most people sleepwalk through existence. They go to work, come home, watch television, go to sleep, and repeat. They never stop to wonder. They never pause to ask why. They never look at the night sky and feel their breath catch in their throat. Einstein spent every day of his life wondering, questioning, marveling. And this is what gave his life meaning, not his fame, not his achievements, not the Nobel Prize, or the praise of the world. The wonder itself was the reward. He wrote, "The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science. He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in is as good as dead. His eyes are closed. Think about that phrase. As good as dead. Einstein is saying that a person who has lost the capacity for wonder is already dead, even if their heart is still beating. They are walking corpses. They are moving through existence without really being alive. How many people live this way? How many spend their days doing jobs they hate, surrounded by people they barely notice, thinking thoughts that are not even their own? How many have forgotten what it feels like to be amazed? Einstein remembered. He cultivated wonder like a gardener cultivates a rare flower. He protected it. He nurtured it. He never let the cynicism of the world extinguish the flame of curiosity that had burned in him since childhood. One of his colleagues at Princeton recalled that Einstein would sometimes stop in the middle of a conversation and stare out the window at the trees. When asked what he was doing, Einstein would say that he was thinking about how sunlight becomes leaves, how energy transforms into matter, how the universe conspires to create beauty. Most people would never stop to think about a tree. They would see it and not see it. They would pass by a miracle without noticing. Einstein noticed everything. And that is what made his life so rich. Most people die with their eyes closed. They never see the beauty that surrounds them. They never feel the mystery that permeates existence. They live their whole lives on the surface, never diving into the depths. Einstein's eyes were open until the very end. There is one more scene I want to share with you, somewhere in America. Date unknown. A journalist is interviewing Einstein. The interview is almost over. The journalist asks one final question. Professor Einstein, you have accomplished so much. You have changed how we understand the universe. What advice would you give to ordinary people? What should they know? Einstein thinks for a long moment. Then he speaks. There are two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. The journalist writes this down. He will include it in his article. People will read it, nod, and forget. But Einstein means it literally. He's not offering a pleasant sentiment. He is describing a choice that determines everything. If you live as though nothing is a miracle, you will be bored. You will be cynical. You will chase distractions and accomplishments, trying to fill a void that cannot be filled. And when you die, you will feel that life was meaningless. If you live as though everything is a miracle, you will be awake. You will be alive. You will see beauty in a blade of grass and infinity in a grain of sand. And when you die, you will know that every moment was a gift. Most people choose the first way without realizing they are choosing. They sleepwalk into cynicism. They let wonder die. Einstein chose the second way, consciously, deliberately, every day of his life. And that is why he could face death with a smile. Princeton Hospital, April 18th, 1955. 1:15 in the morning. Albert Einstein takes his last breath. The assistant Eleanor Vargas is there. She hears his final words are spoken in German. She does not understand them. They are lost forever. But in a way, we know what he said. We know because he spent his entire life saying it, in papers and lectures and letters and conversations. He said that the universe is beautiful, that it is ordered, that it can be understood, that we are not separate from it, but part of it. That wonder is the highest state of the human soul, that life is a miracle, every single moment of it. Most people die without ever knowing this. They live on the surface, they chase shadows, they close their eyes to the beauty that surrounds them. But you are different. You are here. You are listening. You are paying attention. And that means you have a choice. You can return to the surface. You can go back to sleepwalking through your days. You can forget everything you have heard tonight, or couch you can choose to see. You can look at the sky tomorrow morning and really look. You can ask questions you have never asked. You can feel wonder at the simple fact that you exist, that anything exists, that there is something rather than nothing. Einstein knew the secret. Now you know it too. The question is, what will you do with it? I want to hear from you now. What did Einstein know that most people miss? Have you experienced moments of wonder that changed how you see the world? Or do you feel trapped in the sleepwalking existence that Einstein warned about? Leave a comment below with your honest thoughts. This is not a test. There are no wrong answers. I just want to know what resonates with you. What resonates with you? If this story made you think, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who has forgotten how to wonder. Someone who is going through the motions without feeling alive. Perhaps Einstein's wisdom can wake them up. Wake them up. And if you want to continue this journey with me, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because there are more stories to tell, more secrets to uncover, more wisdom from minds that soar deeper than most. Remember what Einstein taught us. Life is a miracle. Every moment of it. The only question is whether you will open your eyes and see. The sunrise tomorrow will be a miracle. The breath you take right now is a miracle. The fact that you exist, that you can think, that you can wonder about your own existence. This is the greatest miracle of all. Einstein understood this. He felt it in his bones, and that understanding transformed his entire life. Einstein saw until his last breath. And now, perhaps, Sam, so will you.